on this computer. Yes, started. Once
Yeah,
again,
and then-
good morning, sir, and sorry for delay.
No problem. So are you going to share? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir. Good morning.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Yeah. Okay, so shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you will present it, Vidya?
Yeah, I have started presentation. Is it not visible?
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I will keep on presenting.
Yeah.
So this is the first group. Dr. Pawar is also busy today in his brother's PhD viva, so and his own students viva also, and he went to university.
I see.
So his group is here.
I'm listening, madam. I'm online available.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. But I'm driving, that's why I am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So this is the group one, number one group's assignment submitted. Prahlad, sir.
Okay. So it's good. So a couple of comments, the word should, we can avoid. Okay.
Okay.
The product be able to, okay, because should meaning no choice. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
such we can. Okay. And measure height, weight accurately using sensors and advanced algorithms, user-friendly feedback, secured database, retrieve quickly, customized reports. So able to handle large number of US. I don't know whether it's simultaneously, but one after the other. Simultaneously may be wrong. Okay. Error date. I think the error date, we have to see what exactly being referred to. Because height error, weight error, whether it will be 2%, meaning somebody is 180 centimeter, 2% is 180 times 0.02. That is 3.6 centimeter. That is too much. Okay. It will reduce the percentage of error. Adjustable lighting conditions, height and weight sensors, affordable minimum maintenance, integrate. Okay, yeah. So maybe we can modify those things. Okay, next one.
Yeah. Another group presentation.
Yeah. Person measure. Okay, this is more on the specific. Okay. And when we use a strain gauge, we have to see whether how much, what will be the sensitivity, accuracy, like that. Okay. Ultrasonic. Okay, power supply, this assembly perfecting, connecting wires. So this is more of specification. Okay. So the need analysis is more like the previous one. Okay.
Okay.
So you can, yeah. But there are, there are embedded, and we don't have to use something like we are, we will use, this is repeated, we can make it short and sweet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Bullets.
Okay. Next. Yeah. Next one. This is.
They have gone for the same group. Had gone for the.
Yeah. So this is a functional diagram. Okay. All right. Next one.
Also added. They have one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on. Yeah. Next one.
Yeah. Another group is having statements here.
Yeah. So I think maybe one way is instead of using doesn't, we can put in a positive way.
Okay.
And should, we can. Apart from the person to stand, as well height, this be BMI. I mean, this one, BMI display or not, there are good and bad aspects, because displaying that may be embarrassing for the student at that time or others. Fitness level, yeah, so we need to see whether this is how that can be done. Categorize person into underwear. I mean, this is again, certain, we have to be a bit careful. People are affected because of this categorizations, and they may not like it.
Mm.
We have to be careful about it. Yeah. So we have to be very careful about the words used, and be highly, mindful of their
Yeah.
how sensitive they are to this word. Somebody says you are obese, my goodness, gone. So there was a time, I remember in a wedding, somebody made, oh, you put on weight, my goodness, that the lady's face went very bad. And then she, no, I had to start dieting more, my goodness, kinds of things. We'd be very mindful about it.
Yes.
Choose BMI for adult, children, and parents. Oh, this is something, I mean, it is basically, the variation will be wider for adult and adults compared to children. Gender, I don't know whether this can be identified, but I don't know why we need that. If there is a specific requirement, that's fine. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
Next one.
Another group.
Okay. All right, concept model design. Thank you. Next one.
They have presented one figure and then.
Oh, okay. So this is more of very detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, we can try to make certain statements, that particular, whatever I underline can be removed. Okay. Accurate BMI measurement.
Okay. Concern group,
Because-
keep, please focus.
Yeah. So, certain things we can make it short and sweet. Product that is, individuals need a product that is easy to use and convenient to access. Actually, this doesn't really give anything specific. Okay.
Hmm.
So you can say easy to use and convenience to access. That can be okay. Yeah. Intuitive interface, easy to access. Okay, I think you can make it short and sweet. Hygiene, okay, that's very interesting.
Mhm.
So I think the BMI, don't have to write our, the BMI machine,
Hmm.
the hygiene of the BMI machine, you have to be taken care of. Okay, that's all. No physical, I think you can say by no physical contact. Okay. Yeah. This is more of explanation, but the need statement can be short and sweet. Obesity related health and muscular need for effective tool. Okay. Group health monitoring. That's very interesting. This is an interesting one. Whether the family has something common, and even in school, this may not be possible, but it's a very interesting concept. If we are selling this product to a house, whether the house has itself a common issue. I mean, it happened, so in my family, I was eldest, I had 3 brothers and 4 cousins staying together, 8 of us. We were all lean. And if we could have really identified it, then we could have changed it. That's a very interesting point. Good aspect, but not for the schools, but for the families.
Family.
So these elaborations are okay, but we have to make it short and sweet. I mean, something which is certain clauses, sentences, we can really shorten it. That'll be very good, to the point. Because if you look at business, business always, time is important. So if I had to read, every word, how much time I am spending, So how much time somebody else will spend. Now, all this have to be considered. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Next one is,
Yeah.
this one, last group.
Okay. Yeah. Measuring height and weight accurately, user-friendly interface and feedback, quickly, easily accessible. Yeah, okay. I think a couple of things we can say security aspect, how identity of the individual can be considered. So there can be an interface or tapping the student card or thumb or something else, that will be useful, because otherwise it is very difficult to identify who is who. And this measurement has to be done not once, or you don't just measure and leave it forever, because it has to be done maybe every 3 months or every 6 months or once in a year at least. And then the same person, previous years or previous semesters measurement, we have to identify that person. So identity is something very important. So there has to be some card to really identify the person. And we can say that that person's name can be displayed and then confirm. There are several aspects that can be considered. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So I will stop sharing now, and you can take in the control.
Yeah. So let me share. We'll continue. And today, okay. You can see my.
Yeah, madam, can we just show this composite chair also, if sir allowed?
Yeah.
Last week, sir, we made one product at our this thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please show.
1 second, sir. Once again, I will share my screen, sir.
Yeah, please.
Pawar sir, you can comment on this. Pawar sir?
1 minute, 1 minute. Okay. First show mold, no, earlier start from first fold. Sir, we wanted to make the monolithic chair. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
We wanted to make एकच minute, madam. PhD ची वाय मला पास पाहिजे की बरं तुम्ही घेऊन या. Okay, sorry for disturbance. We wanted to make a composite chair which is monolithic, and that's how we have prepared mold, and then composite molding also we perform. Madam, can you take to the next small videos and this thing? Yes. So this is what we have done, laying up of composite, and then we are applying epoxy, etc. And this is these are the some other process photographs. Last week we did it, but this experiment got failed, and these are the results of failed photographs. So we realized that epoxy was not sufficient, and from this failed experiment we learned, I guess, next product will come out nicely.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. So, that's a team.
Yeah, sir,
I wanted to show that. I wanted to show that we have also we got inspired from you, and we made kind of a real prototype also, not only on computer write-up, though it was not part of this thing. So we did that.
Very good.
Yes.
Sir, I will take 30 seconds to brief about the how we get inspired with your activity started making the groups. we have
Yeah, sure.
formed the groups, and that groups are meeting each other in the canteen or somewhere where they are comfortable and discussing about the product development or the patent and like this. So one of the photo you have seen just now, that this was the group has
Okay.
taken meeting in the canteen and sharing their thoughts. So that way we get inspired through your process that you have asked to prepare the groups and start working on it.
Okay, that's very good.
This is
So in
one of
fact,
the
you know,
outcome of
that
your.
is- Yeah, that really amazing. You know, that is a way to move ahead. That's a way to, that culture has to be there. And having that culture, starting from small and having small group discussions like canteen. I think my feeling is we spend a lot of time in canteens and for chaya, you know, tea, you know, so we can really, you know, utilize all those into fruitful things to discuss about what can be done. And so there is a concept called side sessions, or you know, so we can create such side sessions where people relax over a cup of tea. We relax, and when we relax, actually the brain will be more free. And when the brain is more free, that's the best time for the seeds to grow or to plant and grow, you know, so to flourish. And that also is a mental well-being. So mental well-being is one of the very important aspects everywhere across the world. Actually, the competitions are going up, and COVID has created its own problem. And then recession is happening. People are losing jobs and so many issues at home. So our students, you know, this may be true to a certain extent everywhere. Families getting separated, or a disease, financial issues, and quarreling parents or family members not having enough privacy, all kinds of issues are there. So we can really create certain spaces in our classrooms or wherever it is to understand the well-being of both parents, children, students, and staff. Staff is also very important. That'll be a great thing to do. So I'm happy that you're able to really do it your own way and has started working on it. Thank you very much, very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Sujata ji, you should say we have to really appreciate this. Sujata ji may be muted there.
She's facing issue of some network.
She's undergoing Ayurveda treatment in Kerala now.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Okay. So thank you very much for sharing. So shall we move? Any other comments, anything to share before we start? Okay, I'll move on then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you for being here. It is actually, this is the fifth, right? We are fifth or sixth, I think sixth session. Yeah, it's a very interesting, and we are more or less halfway through, or gone through halfway through, and maybe more than half. Yeah. Now today we need to look at how to plan the products, and always financial aspects are important, and then how to maximize the outcome, how to if you do something, and maybe is it possible to make use of 50% of that for something else, 70% of that for something else. So if you look at Colgate, you know, in my childhood, we used to use the rice husk. We burn it, and my grandfather had a peculiar way to add, certain spices into it, including not the sugar cane that we get from the shops, but there is another one. I don't know I know the Malayalam word for it, but I don't know the Ayurvedic name for it or the English name. This is a root of a plant. You mix it and it'll sweeten the rice husk, burned rice husk. So it is used in Ayurveda. So we used to use that to clean our teeth. Then came Colgate and other brands, toothpaste, and they said, if your teeth is white, you should not use black to whiten it, and use white to whiten it. And that went on for a while, decades. And then 90s came charcoal-based, or maybe I don't know exact date, charcoal-based paste started coming. So people modify their product slightly to give a difference to the users. And users think, oh, there is a change, there is a modification, there is a value add. That makes a lot of difference. So this you can consider in your classroom also. Students accept or expect normal classes. What is something more you can add it to it? I don't know how to really do that. So for example, some of my friends, my colleagues, what they do is one of my colleagues learned magic. So in the beginning or in the middle, he will show a magic just for 5 minutes. And I did some experiment in Kerala, Palakkad. And one of my friends, I brought him from civil construction space. He was not a great person during his studies in terms of the marks, but he became very good in practice in civil construction. I asked him, why can't you come and talk to the students? Why don't you teach a module? And he said, Prahlad, I was a bad student. How can I teach? And I told him, how long you have been doing the civil construction? He said, 30 years or more. Has any of your buildings fallen down? He said, no. Then you're good. You should come and share your thoughts. You should teach that. So he came, and he was also from theater. So I produced a movie for him. I produced a theater or drama for him. And he used a very interesting concept in the classroom. First 10 minutes, he talked general things. Anything. You can talk anything. Because the students are discussing or having thoughts in their minds, all kinds of thoughts. So he wanted to connect first. So he connected with them. Then 10 minutes, he will try to conform to, let me share something about this particular topic. Then people's attention can be obtained. Yeah. Then he will speak for 10 to 15 minutes. Then another 5 minutes break. Let us talk about anything else. Again, so he's diverging, then he converges, then he will teach for 10, 15 minutes. And he used to get very good feedback. And none of the students failed in that module. Okay. And that, it was foundation, civil foundation, if I remember. It was a tough topic. I mean, generally considered. I don't know whether it is that way in your institute. So you can convert everything into something useful. And we can transform our education system. And so that is the extra thing, modifying whatever you do. Of course, you have to have the clarity in what you're doing, confidence in what you're doing, and you should be persistent to continue to do it. That's not easy, okay? So don't jump in immediately. Take a deep breath. May you discuss with your colleagues how to modify, how to improve, how to make a difference. And then we can transform people. So to be frank with you, my personal feeling is this, that I learned a lot of things in its own way. Old days, no computer, no projectors like that. But I mean, this is with all due respect to all the gurus, all the teachers, all the parents, everybody who helped me to grow, become what I am. With all due respect, certain concepts I did not understand during my days. And when I was teaching in REC Calicut, NIT Calicut, 91 to 96, somebody asked me about, a student came and asked me, what is a tensor? Can you explain to me? And I struggled, but I try my best. And but when I tried to explain to him in the corridor, he got it quickly. Then he put it in a very simple manner back to me, and that made me better. And I could really explain about tensor much better than any time before. I was so happy that I had that conversation. So sometimes we may not be able to articulate the best possible way, but a student may be able to. And also sometimes we may be in the verge of getting the clarity, but we need an interaction with your colleague, interaction with a student or someone to make it great. And that's how, I learned a lot of stuff, and it helped me to become what I am. And I would like to share that. So slight changes, modifications, alterations, tweaking, engagement will make huge difference. So that is the same thing we have in our curries. You add a little bit of salt more, not good. Little less of a salt, not good. The good salt, enough salt, good. Anything for that. Optimal. Yeah. So have that. Okay?
Yeah.
So now we do all these things in our daily life. And how to do that for product development. Okay. So when you plan the product, when you plan your class, when you plan anything, all this can be applied. So we identified opportunities, meaning what are the gaps, need analysis, and we have to have whatever we have seen so far, and then evaluate and prioritize the projects. You will have portfolio of projects, and then you allocate certain resources and how long you can work on it. Actually, we are all doing it. We do most times mentally. You look at a kitchen in Indian house in the mornings or evenings. Say both parents are working and the kids are also going to schools, and there is a grandma or a grandpa. Everything is planned in the brain. Maybe, let me use it a bit in a man or gender based. Maybe the lady is doing most of the job, right, Vidya? Yeah. So
True.
right?
Yeah.
So how much planning brain of a lady in the house or somebody who is managing the kitchen? Think about it. So much, they know everything. So my wife doesn't allow me to get inside the kitchen. She said, keep things properly, don't disturb it. That is
I'm
my
the boss
option.
of kitchen.
I'm the boss of kitchen, don't interfere. I don't interfere in your office, you don't interfere in my
kitchen.
So we all do it. Now, if you look at again kitchen, the people who are in the kitchen, the boss of the kitchen, they have optimized to such a level. They are extremely good. Now, how to really bring that also into our education, our public spaces, or in product development, that is something which we can really consider doing it. Then we have to have the planning and when we can, complete, and all those we have to do. Now we'll take certain examples here, past, just to give clarity. This is a Xerox Lakes project, Xerox machine. It's very big. copies, you can make copies, you can print. So when they started in 1996, this is the 5 years plan up to 2000. We are in 2023, but it's good to learn from the past. So what they did is they tried to come up with new platforms and the duration of the that particular project, when new one can start. Then you derive from the existing, or you improve the existing, or fundamentally new. So all these are improvement. All these are very important, because if you make improvements, you don't have to change 90% of the product R&D. The money you spend for R&D can be utilized. So you can make more money, more profit, because you don't, the outflow will be less. You know, the hockey stick I mentioned, the R&D expenditure will be less. So you can have, improvements. And derivatives, maybe 50% is the same, but you change more. Fundamentally new means totally new. You have to start from scratch. So by having such a plan, you'll be able to optimize your resources, maximize your revenue, improve your profit. Because sometimes you lose also. Some products, you spend a lot of money, R&D and making it mass production you do, and then it will not sell at all. You lose a lot of money. So my first company, the floor cleaning robot, we spent 2.5 crores from angel investment. And I had to pump in another, I took a loan, and that came to about 50 lakhs personal money. And we released, and people were not buying. So we lost about 3 crores. And I lost 50 lakhs personally. Okay? I burned my fingers, but I never cried. I learned a lot, because learning knowledge is more valuable than, for me, let me put it that way, that 50 lakhs, what I learned. And I burned that money to really talk to you today, became good in sharing what I can. And so I look at it always a positive side. Losing is one part, but don't get affected by that. Because if you get affected, who will lose more? We will lose more. Nobody else will lose more. So for me, always everything is positive. There is nothing negative. Nothing negative. Always positive. So I always put it in positive words, positive thoughts, positive feelings. And that is taking care of myself. So the whole sky may fall. Yes, so be it. I will smile. That's the kind of attitude. Okay. Yeah. So so this is something where you can optimize properly how to minimize the expenditure. And also different segments, so from a technology point of view, pages per minute. So there are different segments, meaning personal, selling for individuals, selling for a group. Group may be something like 3 or 4 people in a working on a project, or in a mechanical, electrical, or computer, or civil, or pharmacy department. More people are there, 30, 40 people. So we need to have, we don't have, the expectations will be different. Personal, I can just press the print button and it will get printed. So 20 pages per minute is okay. But if it is a work group, I would like to have higher, 35, 40, 30, or a department. So we may expect 3 times than personal, because the number of requests will be more. Now, these days, we don't have it. So when I joined in NUS in 1999, I had to do a lot of tutorials, and we had to print out the tutorials for each and every student and for myself, and staple them together, for a particular student. So the stapling was also automatically done by the printing machine. Sorting was also done for, and back-to-back printing was done. So some of these products are so advanced. So we can see here what they've done is competitors' product, that's a blue one. And potential competitors possible. You may not know, but and then our own product. How do you position ourselves? So this is very, very important. So if you look at the politics in India, they position certain statements properly, looking at the, very clever. In Kerala, I don't follow the politics beyond a point. And it's a capsule. You put a capsule, does not matter whether it is right or wrong, okay? But that capsule is released. And some people like the capsule and they believe in it. Some others don't really believe in it. That's okay. But the capsule is meant for those people who want it. It's not meant for everybody. So you position it. This is called the branding, positioning. And so placement, okay? You place your product. So similarly, you can look at your own courses and see how you're positioning it, whether competition point of view. I'm not saying competition purely from the point of view of defeating or winning, but you compete for excelling, becoming great, okay? That's a positive side of it. If you say it is to defeat or win, that is a negative side of it. But compete to excel, that is the evolution process. That is a positive side of it. So you can position yourself. Also certain projects, the lab, where you can try to look at it, and any idea, any thought, any gap you identify, how do you go about positioning it? So the CEOs and CTOs, they get a lot of money as salary, millions of dollars, okay, per month or a year, because their brain is customized to really look at this. So our brain can contain anything, We can have the more, actually we don't use even 10, 15 or 20, 30% of our brain. At the most we do. We have so much capability, but we should not get headache by thinking about a lot of things. So you should manage it. So for me, I compartmentalize. So when I'm talking to you, no other thoughts. I fully focus. And that's why the yoga comes in, focus and look at a particular, ROS or a picture or a point, this focus. So similarly, I focus for you. So you can make such things for the students to focus on. That's what I meant, diverge and converge. My friend who did civil foundational course, diverge, allow it. So in yoga, people say, allow the thoughts to fly and let it go, free it. Then you come back. And that is a focus. So similarly here, you can really diverge and try to see a bigger picture. But when you have to execute, focus on something, okay? And there is another aspect from a technology point of view. It is called the technology S-curve. Every technology that will come, it'll become good and it will mature. Then it may die or it may not continue. So for example, cathode ray tubes in my childhood, it started and became very matured. It started coming in radios and televisions. And then in between, integrated chips, IC chips started coming, and it replaced cathode ray tube completely. So similarly, new technologies will start. So digital technology, for that matter, has become more prominent in all the visual cameras and photocopying machines rather than the traditional lens-based systems. So if your company is dominant in light lens technology and you don't really embrace the digital technology, what will happen? You die down. You not continue. That's why it happened to Nokia, Motorola. The technology was changing. So you have to be very careful about the landscape. This is true in education also. So robotics and AI is becoming so hot and everywhere it is being applied. So that is coming, and it was there for a long time, more than 50, 60, 70 years. but it was being applied somewhere, the AI technology. Now it is with the ChatGPT and Brad and other things, it is becoming very mature. So Narayana Murthy, he made a comment. So I made this comment earlier in some other, we had another meeting with Sujata ji and others yesterday. So my son was also there, and he shared what Narayana Murthy said. It was quite similar, that you should not really throw away the ChatGPT. You should use it, should ride on top of it. Use it to our requirement and then jump on top of it. If instead of jumping from the bottom, get onto it and jump on top of it. So you can jump further. So that's a way we have to do. So you can use it for your own lectures, a particular concept. Ask ChatGPT how this concept can be explained in an easy manner, and let it get it and include it in your text and notes and use it. And you can ask your students also to encourage them. You cannot stop them. When you cannot stop something, don't oppose it. Go with it, ride with it. So that's the first thing I learned in my childhood. My uncle, father's elder brother, he taught me how to take care of buffaloes and cows. What he said is, never hold the rope strongly. If you hold it, it will hurt your hand, and the cow or buffalo will be also uncomfortable. It'll try to really, move away from you. But you should hold it only, you should put the pressure only when required, just to change the direction. And that was very important. We have to apply that to our students also. So technology has curves, we have to be very mindful. And that's how they plan the entire thing. This is higher level. So Hodaka, lakes, extensions, next platform. How do you do? So, okay, let us start from the top. These are functional elements and technologies. Photoreceptor, cylindrical drum, pitch belt photoreceptor, end pitch. This is 3 pitch. So it's an improvement. Scanner, charge coupled device, CCD, 2D, full width, linear array, high temperature, low melting, low emission, monochrome, color, keypad, touchscreen, remote PC. These dots per inch, 600, 1200, 1800, onboard diagnostics, remote dial-up, remote. This is holistic technology roadmap for their product. So this is something very important. And also, if you look at the changes in education, say mechanical engineering or electrical or computer or pharmacy for that matter, you see whether you are providing the holistic view of the changes in the landscape and how we can modify the courses, the program, improve, or within a module or a course, whether you can modify. So you can use all these in the appropriate manner in any space for that matter. This can be done at home, can be in workspace. So I think some houses, if you go, you have so many things. We buy, keep on buying. We need it. It is cluttering. But sometimes you don't have something and that will affect. So you need to have that thought process. In the kitchen, it is always there. Everything will be there. It's holistic, actually. Yeah. So now R&D, can we have some common R&D spending, but you can have a platform A, a platform B. So again, I give the kitchen example. When my wife was away, she is right now back with me, I started learning cooking, very bad at cooking, okay? Because my structural thinking of my brain is only 4%. My son's is 3%. So that is the way I'm born with, okay? So you cannot learn certain things. So I cannot follow rituals. I'm not against rituals. I make others do rituals, but I cannot, my brain cannot. This is also a problem with our students, problem with all of you. I'm using the word problem. Don't take it in a negative way. We don't understand it. That's why I'm saying it is a problem. We're all different. And maybe I can give a talk about it towards the end. how the thinking preferences are different, okay? Why we are different. So, so the point is now, when I started learning cooking, my wife, my sister-in-laws, and a lot of people tried to help me especially during COVID. They said, brother, don't think it is very complicated. Vidya and others correct me, okay? You have a base. You have a base. You make the base, okay? And this is it for multiple things. You add something else here, it will become a different base. You add something else there, it will become another base.
It is chemistry.
Right? Correct?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
That's a chemistry. So I created a cooking manual for me. And it's so interesting, you know. So that, I mean, it is there in us. Why I'm using this example is that each one of us, each one of you, you are utilizing these things in your life in one way or other. Only thing is we have not really put a category or, you know, label to that. I'm doing it. So try to relate to that. And so you have a curd curry, or you have some other curry. If you don't add curd, that is not a curd curry, right? But the base is, and then you can save a lot. So if you have a mother-in-law who likes curd curry, but you have a husband, you don't like curd curry, you want something else, you can optimize it. And that is the beauty of the Indian kitchen. I tell you, Indian kitchen is teaching a lot, including reinforcement learning. I'll talk about that later. Everything, because it's a chemistry lab. It's a chemistry lab, beautiful chemistry lab. And unfortunately, we discard it. So these days, I always say, whether it's a male or a female, everybody should learn, you know, cooking. And that makes us perfect. That makes it. So in my residential college, I mean, the Gurukula, every 14 students, they have a kitchen. I provided the latest, best cooking facilities, fridge, you know, microwave, oven, the traditional oven, and electric cooking facilities and utensils. And I give money for them, $5 per person. You pull together, you buy whatever you want, you cook and you share and you eat. And that is bonding, sense of belonging. Cooking is the height of it. Okay, I'll tell you, I did my own cooking. I learned my own cooking. Outside, I paid money along with my colleagues and students. And, you know, we were given $100 each group. And maybe you should try to do that. And these people have to go and buy the items, ingredients for that. We came back. Then the instructor did a very interesting thing. We planned this particular curry, okay? And when we came, they said, you give your ingredients to your another group, you take ingredients from that group, and you have to cook what the other group has planned. That's a beautiful concept, because how easy for you to adapt, how easy for you to face challenges. So every kitchen, that challenge is there every day, right, Rani, Vidya Rani, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. So that's what we did, and we did very well, okay? But I asked my students, you come once in a while and give me some instruction side. I want to verify it. So he did that. I did very well. Yeah. So it's all very interesting learnings, actually. So, and so platforms, you know, there were two products, 1, 2, 3, or you can have slight variations, wider variation, and you release it at different times, or you release it together. You know, there are different ways. So R&D will be small or rather common, and you can save more. And different people like different things. For example, why the mobile phones are so different? Why do you need 3 cameras, right? Why do you need 4 cameras? Or the chappals, shirt, all kinds of variations. People want to be unique. People want to make difference. So then we need to look at, once you have the planning done, you have to look at what is known as architecture. So in your concept, the BMI machine, some of you have drawn some pictures, you have the block diagram. Also, one of the groups tried to show the functional diagram or the electronics circuit diagram. Basically, you're thinking about what is known as the architecture. Architecture is very important. Architecture, I didn't mean architecture engineering, the architecture of the product. Everywhere you can see that. So you need to really think about what kind of architecture to use. And this is applicable to whether it is classroom, your courses, kitchen, or a product in a company. So this is very old. This is a power shot from Canon. So when they tried to come up with this power shot long back, okay, they tried to see how compatible it is with the rest of the products that are already existing and what kind of connectivity is required, whether it is a Macintosh computer, IBM PC, television, what kinds of codes are required. At that time, there were cards being used, printers being used, power supply, and everything. So you have to really see it totality. So your education also, you have to see totality, how the education in a department is complete, how it is gelling well, how the university or institute wise, how it is being gelling well, and whether anything missing. So you have to have a pictorial way to really look at this, and then you'll be complete. I think we all have mental maps. So in a kitchen, the boss will have a mental map. I have everything. So that's why when she goes to the market or he goes to the market, they know what is missing, what is lacking. The inventory is managed. Similarly, you may have to really consider how your education space is complete. So the system that you are developing, this could be our boundary. The rest of the things were existing or all existing, and you have to fit into that. That is complementary in nature. Yeah. Then product architecture, we need to really understand from the point of view of functions. And each function or functional elements, you can put them together and put it as a physical chunk or a software chunk to become the basic building block of the products or family of products. So modular aspect, and that is very important. So this is an example where recording system, disk drive, output, power source, you have 4 chunks. And if you look at chunk 1, the recording, it may have multiple subsystems or components. Each one of those chunks will have components. And then if you put these chunks together, you have the product, but you need to really understand how geometrically they are to be positioned, especially from the point of view of interactions, how these interactions happen. And whether every chunk has to interact with everything. For example, chunk 2 is interacting with chunk 2 for chunk 1. It is everything is interacting here. Some may not be interacting. Interaction meaning you may share data, share some information, share or send a control signal, or you have feedback or sensory feedback. So this is very important to really see it from a higher level. And whether the students are doing projects, whether you are supervising projects, or you're getting projects from, say, funded projects, how do you go about doing it? Start with a block diagram, look at different chunks, functional elements, and how those functions can be taken care of. Now, I'll tell you an example. This is one of my friends. He's originally from India, but in Singapore. And he is an industrial designer. He got a project from an automobile industry. And the automobile manufacturer mentioned that this is the physical three-dimensional space given to you. You have to have a particular module fit into that, and it has got certain functions. Say an electronic system. For example, easy for conversation, let us say the audio system. Okay, format. And then he has to design it. An audio system has to have several features. So when he started working on that system, he realized that the existing technologies, if you try to put into that space, it can never fit into that. So one of the chunks is creating the problem. Then what they did is they suggested, maybe we have to reinvent that particular subsystem, the chunk, to reduce the size. And they have to do it, they did it. And that became an IP patent, and everybody was satisfied. So you can identify IP at that level as well. And you need to be very mindful of the dimension, physical dimensions also. And many people are worried about it. See, look at Singapore. My apartment is 3-bedroom. I have a kitchen, storeroom, but storing is very small room. You cannot store like in India. My traditional house in India, oh my goodness, how much space I have to store. So people are worried about storing storage spaces and how to put things on the cupboard like that. So we have to be very mindful of it. Now, let us take an example of coffee maker. Okay, so overall function is to brew coffee. Very simple. We all know it. Now, how do you really make this function materialize? So you have to have sub-functions. So what are the sub-functions? Supporting sub-functions. So you have to really draw a black box. Then you start filling in. So what are all the things going into it? Water, ground coffee, and electricity has to come in, and the coffee is the output. So this is the boundary, and what goes in, what comes out. Now, what is inside? How do you really make coffee? You have to use electricity, you have to use water, you have to use ground coffee. So you have to store the water, right? There'll be storage. Yeah. And then you have to heat the water. So you have to use electricity and heat coffee. This is from the point of view of one way of looking at it. Then you have to store the grounds, mix coffee and water. This may not be in the order I'm talking about as far as the processes are concerned. Then you have to store coffee. Then you have to look at the way things, work.
Design can be changed.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So to be frank with you, when I mentioned my structured thinking is low, that doesn't mean it is a drawback. Okay. But if you look at my PowerPoint presentations, my house, my office, very clean. I'm very structured. I respect all the rituals because I use the rest of my capability to really do it. So I spend a lot of time for my PowerPoint. And every time I see I could have improved it a bit, and I keep on improving it. So I make sure. So the point is that when you give such an approach to problem solving, a student in your class, or you yourself, who is not so strong in a structured thinking, will feel more comfortable. And you can convert that difficulty of that individual to make him or her feeling more comfortable to really walk the path with you. And then this is one part. This is a basic baseline, okay? But then some people do not want ground coffee, but they want to have some function. So we can have an auxiliary function. So the first product will be confining to this. Then you can extend it and have a new product, which you can sell it at a higher level. So say auxiliary function, you have coffee beans. So in my childhood, I had coffee plantation, a couple of plants in our house. So good, taste is different. Yeah. So we pluck it and we warm it and we grind it and like that. So grind the beans, that's another function, and then store the ground. And sometimes, people want shutting off the heater. So I have a heater, water heater. And one important thing I always, earlier I used to use my electric rice cooker when my wife was not a very bad guy, not structured. I used to use the electric rice cooker to heat up my water. I add some herbs also. A number of times, I totally forgot about it. It did not stop. Then I seen the entire water evaporated, nothing inside. Okay, that's not good. Okay, fortunately, that electric cooker is safeguarded, did not burn or did not start a fire. But now when I went, two of my students told me, Prof, you should buy this. It has got 3 aspects. You have a base, on top of it, you can keep it. Then the entire, the container is glass. I can see the water inside, boiling inside. Then at the bottom, you have a way to press something to start heating. And when it's a timer based on something. And when it starts boiling, it will automatically stop. Very good for me. So shutting off the heater. This is a feature, but you have to pay more. So you have the first part, you can sell it for, say, 1,000 rupees. Okay. And you have grinding the beans and shutting off the heater, 1,200 or 1,500. Now, what happens is, additional feature. So whatever you spend for R&D, additional R&D required for grinding the beans and setting off the heater is less. So you make more money. And that's how companies work. And this is very important. That's why cost of products come down, because they can make variety. So this is it can be a derivative or it can be an additional feature like that. So is that clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So any problem, any issue, anything that we can approach in this manner. Now, modular architecture. This allows the firm to minimize the physical changes required to achieve a functional change. So chunks implement one or a few functions entirely. Interactions between chunks are well defined. Modular architecture has advantage in simplicity and reusability. So Swiss Army knife, each one of them modular. Now Sony Walkman is not there, but modular. But if you look at a high performance bicycle or a combat camera, if something goes wrong with one or other, you cannot use it. So if you, in this case, if one of them is damaged, the rest of it, you can still use it.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Or if the earphone is damaged, you can change it. It's still functional. But if you have, say, one wheel is damaged, the pedal is damaged, or brake is damaged, or the seat is damaged, handle is damaged, anything is damaged, gone. That is integral. Similarly, combat camera. And you cannot repair it, you have to have specialists to repair it. Now, the function of moving in a bicycle is not fully confined to a wheel, a pedal, a handle, a seat. So multiple chunks are required for doing a particular function, or many functions can be there. And interactions between chunks are poorly defined, not separated. But integral architecture increases performance, reduces cost, because it is everything put together. So if you look at the traditional screwdrivers, they are integral, focus mission, conventional screwdriver is like that. But you have this also, modular design, flexible bit holder and driver bits. But between them, you might have studied all this, or you might be knowing all this. Integral higher system performance, lower system cost because you can make it in large, tightly coupled design teams, expensive tooling because you need to have more molds for each one of them. Here, it is less in numbers in terms of molds. Expensive tooling and hard to change. Modular change, you can do changing, decoupled design, reduce performance, flexible manufacturing, cheaper at low volumes. This is another example. If you go to the airport, you have the trailer, okay, in airport, baggage handling. Now, it can be done in both modular and integral. So let me start with modular. So here the box that is to protect the cargo from weather. It's only one function. Hitch, that is this, connecting to the vehicle. Fairing, that's a front, minimize air drag. Bed, that's a cushioning, cargo loads. Spring, basically suspension. Wheels, transfer load to the road. You can, any one of them can be replaced and the rest can continue to function. So this is modular, but the same thing can be implemented in an integral manner. Here, you see the upper half protects the cargo. It also supports cargo loads. It also acts as a suspension. Similarly, lower half. Nose piece, it connects to the vehicle, minimizes the drag, supports cargo load. So you will have, except wheel, all others are interconnected. For example, cargo hanging straps is only to support cargo loads, but everything is interconnected. So such things you have to really consider in the design, whether you have to go for modular or integral. Everything has its own advantage. So what do you choose? What decision to make? So whether you want product to change, copier, the toner you have to change, then it has to be modular. Camera lenses you have to change now and then, modular. Whether variety of things you want to have, computers, then you can have modular aspects. So you need to, so Dell computer, you have an online manner to choose the configuration you want. So that is modular. Automobiles, some people, so you have different varieties, variants for that. So you can have airbags, you can have four-wheel drive, quite a number of options are there. And whether you want to standardize the motors, bearings, fasteners, that is modular. Whether you want going for performance, racing bikes and fighter planes, then it should be integral. Manufacturing costs, less or more, again, disc drives based racers. Project management, whether team has enough teams to really have modular architecture to function, or small number of team members, and then integral may be better, and what kind of capacity they have, what kind of skill set they have, and also integration and decomposition, system engineering aspects. We are not going into the system engineering aspects in this course. Again, system, subsystem, component level, you have to understand the hierarchy and see how the interactions within chunks, red, it's just one chunk, second chunk, third, fourth, and one chunk components, and within the chunks or across the chunks, we have to really understand. In PCB design also, you may be very much aware of the heat dissipation, as well as the, any electromagnetic interfacing or interactions, you have to be very mindful. So you have to establish the architecture. So we have to have a schematic, cluster the elements, and achieve the type of product variety desired. Another example, Hewlett-Packard is again old desk-jet printer. Now here, they try to put into functional or physical elements, and then they try to put them to cluster the elements into chunks. Enclosure, chassis, paper tray, print mechanism, user interface, logic board, power code, host drivers software. So, and then the interactions thereby. Now here, sometimes in the case, especially in this case, you have to be mindful about the geometric layout. And sometimes, because the paper height will vary maximum to minimum, and the height of the enclosure should be accordingly designed. So it will be very mindful about it. So while it is operating, how the variability of certain aspects in terms of space or components, subsystem, what is the minimum maximum that is required, you have to be mindful. That is one aspect. Another is incidental interactions. So you have an enclosure, styling, paper tray, vibrations will be there, print mechanism, thermal distortion. These days it has gone. Actually, I have a very big printer on my side. It doesn't really make a lot of noise. RF shielding, thermal distortion, RF interference, and all that. So to be very mindful about this, incidental interactions while it is operational. So very important, all these aspects when you consider designing. Also, this is important, you design a course, students interact. So in my childhood, in my school days, college days, I used to ask a lot of questions. That's my way. My thinking out of the box is always high, the conceptual. And, so one of in my 9th standard, one maths teacher came and he completed MSc at that time. It was his first lecture in my class. And I asked a question. He answered, I did not know. After I graduated, 30 years, we had old students, alumni gathering. And this teacher was there, my favorite teacher. And I went on to speak how I benefited. Then the teacher spoke. Prahlad asked that question. And I never thought about such a question or never thought about that kind of a perspective of questioning. And initially I got really upset and disturbed and I did not know, confused how to answer it. But then I regained and answered. And I think Prahlad was happy with that. I could feel it. But that was an incidental interaction, which I never expected. Then that made me to think myself very clearly. You cannot assume our students are, 9th standard, much and how much they know. I know more. That kind of a mentality is not good. So he started preparing more seriously for the classes and he started engaging in more interactions to help him to become better. And I use the same thing. I always interact face to face. Through Zoom, it is not very easy. And also the audio interactions, but I always have the interactions. And that helped me to really become very good. So when you did something, showed something today, that was a feedback. Oh my goodness, you've done it. So if I'm talking to someone else, I'll share how you are making use of this faculty development program to make a difference to yourself, to your students, to your institute, and to your family, your public, and all that. Okay, so I may use certain examples from here. Okay, so we move on. The types of modularity you can see everywhere. So I created a couple of slides here to show, swapping. You can swap, sectional, fabricate to fit, sharing, bus, mix. And even the sofas at home, you have those, or certain designs you have. And traditionally we have quite a lot of things in there. And so slot, bus, sectional are the three. So this is slot. You slot in. Traditional computers had that. SCSI, Ethernet, parallel ports, all different. But then came bus. So you have the bus architecture, and now it is being used very extensively. yeah, universal serial, buses, right? Yeah. And then sectional, so Legos use that. So you see that, So in traditional computers, you have the USBs there, but specific ones for specific components and parts. So you have bus, slot, and sectional for the traditional one. Okay. So product architecture and fundamental decisions, whether integral or modular or part integral, part modular, and then what kind of modularity and how to assign functions to chunks, how to assign chunks to teams, different groups to work on, which chunks to outsource. So, I mean, this you can really consider bringing in the student final year projects as well, 4 or 5 or 6 students work, and how to really impart this kind of an approach, which will be useful to them when they go to industry. So practical concerns, planning is essential. And you have to have variety and easy for change, product change capability. And coordination is difficult across teams, companies, and great distances. And so for me, first company, our headquarters in Singapore, R&D in Bangalore, industrial design in London, and manufacturing in China. So we had to coordinate, and different people speak different way English, and initially it was very difficult. We all knew English, but we all speak different English language. This is true with you and with me and with somebody else, and also our students. Among our students, they speak the same language, English, but they speak differently. Their reactions, their understanding, their way of they interpret are different. So to be very mindful to talk more, share more, pause, and also explain the same concept with different examples. Look at our Puranas, all examples, wonderful examples. And that's will keep in mind. So I'll give you an extreme example. So I learned a lot from my IIT professors, Madras. So he gave a beautiful example of PID controllers, proportional integral derivative. So he said, proportional meaning you are reacting now like an adult, teenage, you react, okay? Integral is summation, the past, like parents. Derivative is like a futuristic, thinking out of the box. That's maybe you can consider that as an adult or something like that. So you consider the past, the present, and future. That is the holistic way of controlling. And that helped me to remember it very clearly. And it is required for me. But the same professor gave another example, which I don't want to explain here. I don't remember completely. And the student wrote in the exam, Prof, you explain this concept with this example. I remember the example, but I don't remember the maths. And the professor came to the class and said it. And he said he will give full marks to the student because he gave the example. If you are giving the example and the student remembers it and writes that, you should not punish just because the maths is not there. Maths is a symbol. Math is a story. Math is a storytelling alphabet, just like, the concepts in stories. So that is magnanimity of my professor. And I learned a lot from him. I used to go to his chamber every Thursday. He had written books in Sanskrit and used to explain concepts from the philosophical side very nicely. And it transformed me a lot. And I benefited a lot from him. And I use such things whenever possible in my lectures as well. Special attention might be paid to handle complex interactions between chunks, system engineering methods. You have to be very mindful about that. And some conclusions is my last slide. I am finishing early today.
Okay.
Yeah. So architecture choices define the subsystems and modules of the product, okay, for the platform or the family. Ease of production, you have to be very mindful. So not everything can be produced, mass produced the way we expect it. So design for manufacturing will have another session. Design for assembly, design for disassembly, design for environment, design for X, we'll have it later.
Okay.
And also feasibility of customer modification, you have to be mindful. And what are the costs associated? So the key concepts today take away: modular versus integral architecture, clustering into chunks, planning product families. So with that, I like to stop my sharing and I like to hear your views, how some of the concepts we shared today. Let us have some interactions for 10-15 minutes. We have half an hour ahead for us. Like to hear your views from the past, today, and how that is transforming you. Let me use that today for the next 20 minutes or so.
Gidde sir, boardroom mic can be on if someone want to talk.
Thank you, Prahlad ji. I was listening to the whole session. Unfortunately, I couldn't participate when you asked me a question. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but interesting session. Actually, the part on additional features also was very interesting. I have some questions about it. Maybe I'll ask later when everybody else is done with it. So I'll just, I mean, it's an curiosity question. So we can probably talk about it a little later.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
You have explained about coffee maker machine, but we have like some confusion. Without milk, coffee, we have not understood that.
Okay. So, okay, I think the milk part is there only mostly in India. Okay, the milk part.
It's a black coffee.
And, yeah, it's mostly coffee and tea. If you take the world, they don't add milk generally. So you have to, if you want, milk coffee, you have to say milk coffee, and you have to say milk tea, you have to add milk tea. Yeah. So actually,
correct,
that's
but that can be changed when more design can be added over there.
Yes.
Or one feature can be added in that same product.
That is another product. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in fact, that's a very interesting point. Traditionally, let me, of course, what do you record here? You don't put it on public domain. So I make a comment here. Okay. If you look at, I've traveled a lot of countries, okay, and I'm a vegetarian, strict vegetarian. And last December, I traveled in 11 cities in India. And my dream with my son, I told this to Sujata ji, is to buy a caravan and have 2 drivers and 2 cooks and travel across India to identify all kinds of foods and eat vegetarian, okay? So much variety of food. India was, or India is, mass innovator in food, mass innovator in culture, mass innovator in dress codes, mass innovator in cultures. We are the height of innovators in religion or anything for that matter. Everything. You don't see that kind of, when I went to Korea, they didn't have any idea about milk-based products. They didn't have. You know why? Even a poor person in India can afford to have a cow. That's the beauty of it. And everywhere, milk-based, yogurt-based, curd-based, number of, curries mushroom, which is not there in every culture. Siberia or very cold places, their lifestyle is totally different. India is totally different from that point of view. So the richness of food is itself is good enough, as far as I'm concerned, is my personal comment, to see the innovative mindset of the Indians. Unfortunately, we don't recognize it. Very sorry to say that. I went to a Kolkata Beckons, there is a Bengali outlet. You know, my goodness, the samosa they make, the cutlet they make, totally different. Very different. And they have a jackfruit biryani. I don't know whether you know it. So the raw jackfruit is used as an ingredient. So be proud of our, whatever our forefathers have created. So what I'm saying is the milk adding to the tea is our innovation, which others don't have it because we had the luxury of milk, availability of milk.
Correct.
I would like to add something here, Dr. Prahlad. When we actually were working on this microbiome project by Dr. Rashmi, we found out that there are numerous ways to make yogurt.
Yeah.
And even including there were a couple of people who explained that they even today start the first culture with the first drops of rain. It was amazing to learn that. So I never knew that. It's never documented, and so many things probably have been lost on its way. But we are learning really new things and new facts about our Indian cuisine. So that is why I thought I'll add that. Now about the additional feature in the, the coffee maker, since we are talking about that, I don't have any particular question on the coffee maker, but as we developed additional features, this is just a curiosity question. Has it ever happened that the original, whatever was the starting point has been missed out, has been left behind, and the additional features have become more important than the previous one? Do you know of anything like that? This is just a curiosity.
I don't have a ready answer, but it is natural, possible. Because the technology changes, then whatever we started with may become obsolete. It's possible.
Okay.
Yeah, that is there everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
this cathode ray tube, for that matter, the raster, left to right, left to right. And that was the foundational thing. Then you had additional features. But that cathode ray tube became obsolete, and that raster became different totally. So that is there. But I would like to add on to earlier what you said. Why so many things mushroom in India, whether it is culture, food, or dress, or XYZ, is because we never owned anything. We never owned. We allowed that to spread. We did not put a boundary, no pattern, nothing like that. And that's the beauty of the way of life. Okay, and it really gone to vastness. And I don't remember how people could have really walked. So if you look at Shankaracharya, he started from Kerala, Kaladi, which is just 2 hours drive from my house. And he went to all kinds of places on food.
Yes.
That was the beauty of it. We were ready to share knowledge. We were ready to share our whatever new we have. Of course, there are exceptions, like unique formulae. Only father to son in the deathbed, it is transferred and it is lost forever. I know a lot from the South India. I've gone to some places also. Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. Yeah, we didn't put boundaries.
Thank you, Dr. Prahlad.
So good. That discussion went to a lot of thoughts. So one question. Very good.
Yeah. It seems that Vangigar sir want to ask something.
Just I want to say that the difference explained by integral and modular design is very good. And today, sir has given examples from kitchen. So I have correlated that modular design with there is a concept modular kitchen. So our traditional kitchen and modular kitchen that I have correlated, and the concept is very nicely explained by sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And this is something very interesting. So for me, everything I learn, we have to learn all the time. And so, for example, what Sujata ji asked today, that's a question nobody asked me before. And now I will explain, use that. It's a learning. And when I started, I didn't have an answer. But then when I start answering, the cathode ray tube came into my mind. Our brain is generative. It can generate. Even if we don't think about it before, it can generate. And I can use it elsewhere. So each and every question, we have to really see it as an opportunity.
Right. Anybody?
Don't keep the question in your mind. Throw it out.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Amarjit. I have one simple basic question which came in every entrepreneur's mind. For example, suppose we are considering a food industry or food product. Okay. Like banana vapors. Like so, in India, there are hundreds of companies of banana vapor, but only few company goes national or international. So many companies come and then got vanished after some years. So what planning or what basic changes can be done in our strategy before launching the product or before making it national level to make it success?
Yeah,
That's
very
my
interesting, very important and interesting point. So one, if you take any in general, whether technology or any other space, generally 2 or 3 or 4 products will dominate. So if you look at Apple, Samsung, they are dominating. Earlier it was Motorola, Nokia, BlackBerry. So generally 3, 4 will dominate. And it is called the merger and acquisition process. So small companies are merged with bigger ones, and it becomes like that. That is because of the size of the market, whether you can reach out to that size and you can sustain it. That's a 3 years framework: size, sustainability, and scalability. So most times such expansion thoughts are not there in the product. The product may be very good. So for example, I always say this example from my village. I know one particular shop. It's a small shop. He used to sell some odd things. And he was there when I was going to school in 1960s or 70s. And he's still there, the same size, nothing changed. So for him, it just satisfies his family's requirement. The money that he gets he's happy with that. So he doesn't expand. But his brother, the next door, he had a small shop for selling the clothes. Then he expanded. And he was trying to make it in other places also. It's a mindset in us. That's one part, whether we want to expand, whether we are satisfied with this. And the second part is whether we have to collaborate. So for example, someone has a banana product, it's good. Then how do you really publicize it? To publicize it, you have to have money. Do you have the money? Yes, spend it. If you don't have it, you have to partner. So you have to bring in investors and then go for a wider space. And then you have to really reach out to people, network. You have to put in a lot of effort. And some people are lucky in that, in certain way, because market is always uncertain. Some people have very targeted strategy. So what Amarjit Kene mentioned today, this is the same thing what my son asked me last week. Dad, I need to learn more about marketing. I need to learn because it is so different. And so we have produced 3 movies and 1 short film and a theater drama. And frankly speaking, the 3 movies we produce are not meant for making money, to understand the ground. So we are burning to understand the ground so that we can do more. Now, what he said is that it's very difficult to understand the market, extremely difficult. Actually, today, my last hour was meant for giving you an online market competition from School of Sloan Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Unfortunately, my student helper, who is supposed to help, is not free because of the exam time. So that's why we got this 30 minutes free. So understanding the market and expanding the market is very difficult and tough. But having said that, so for example, after I exited the floor cleaning robot market in India in 2010, one of the investors is a very big person. He continued in that space. You know what he did? He paid, I don't know how much. He brought Amitabh Bachchan to promote the floor cleaning robot in India. And he started selling like hotcakes. So you have to have that kind of mentality. You should shell out, spend money for bringing Amitabh Bachchan into that space or someone like that. So it will be very mindful how to really do that. And the other one is word of mouth. So here there is an Indian restaurant which started after COVID. And it is not publicized as an Indian restaurant. Their name is Have, H-A-V-E. H-A is the first two letters of the first daughter. V-E is the first two letters of the second daughter. Okay, very simple. And I went there once, had lunch. In Singapore, you will never get that kind of a homely made food for that money. And I started becoming the ambassador for it. I brought a lot of people to eat there. And one day the owner came and told me, you are our ambassador. Word of mouth. And similarly, you go to Trivandrum in Kerala, there is a food outlet which gives you the 30-course meal, the traditional Onam Sadhya, Onam feast food. Just I went there in 2018. I don't know the cost now. 450 rupees, you get it. You know, their waste per day, 2 tons. So you can imagine how many number of people come and eat there. They did not advertise. They don't have to advertise. People come there. And a world blogger, food blogger, somewhere, I don't know where he is from Europe, came there and he ate there. It became so hot. During COVID, I was searching for a lot of such things. I mean, cooking, some Sri Lankan cooking, village cooking from across India, you know, I mean, millions of viewers. So you need to really identify the right time. Sometimes the right time is important. And sometimes you have to really use the right kind of food marketing technology, need not be food alone, marketing technology or platform. And then you have to put a lot of effort. So if you look at the marketing team expenditure is very high. And even the university, you know, university like where I am working, we have a very dedicated marketing team. I give master classes. And when I do master class, they will analyze from which all countries people came. And then how many people from that group came and joined our master's program. And, you know, all the social media platforms are used. Analytics is done. So you have to have that kind of a mechanism to really understand that. So we have a very interesting outlet here called POKE. Amarjit, POKE, it's a poke theory. It's called POKE, poke theory. Poke theory is that you have different ingredients put. You can choose what you want to mix. And I like that. Both vegetarian and non-vegetarian are there. Mm-hmm. Did I answer your question, Amarjit?
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this suggestions.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Yeah. Another 11 minutes, folks. I hope you love to see my face, so you continue to sit there and ask more questions. I'll tell you why I'm using this, rock. This was given by my friend. in a particular situation, always keep it on my table and I play with it. And this is a product I consider, you see. So, and I know one of my, there's a Japanese culture, if I'm not wrong, they put different kinds of rocks in shapes, put in a bag, and then they put that in another big bag. Then they put that in another big bag. So you have a very big bag like that. I mean, not so big like this many, so many small bags. And that is a product. And people are buying it. People are making money out of it. So you can transform anything into a product. You have to have a good business strategy, good marketing strategy, and innovativeness, how to do that. And we have so much in India, so much in India. I'll tell you one problem. I went to IIT Mandi, and it's a frugal innovation, grassroots innovation. And I went to one village. So there was a boy. And of course, I cannot understand his Hindi very well. I'm not very good in Hindi, can understand, can read and write, not good in conversational Hindi. So I had someone who was helping me. But we went there and spoke to him, and they have very innovative ways to really manage how to get the water from the river to irrigation. You have to go and see how they are doing it. So I was amazed by that particular solution. Then after towards mid or towards the second half of the discussion, the boy asked me this question: "Where are you coming from?" Singapore. Why are you asking these questions? Because we want to really innovate. Oh, you have to come from Singapore to ask me about what I am doing, how good I am. Why these people here in IIT Mandi not coming and asking me? This is a very powerful question. So don't look down on your neighborhoods and the grassroots innovations. There is I forgot the name. There's a national, Indian national database of all the grassroots innovations known. And there is what is known as Shodh Yatra. They do it in the winter and summer. You don't have any luxury. A lot of people across the world come, and there is I forgot his name, Gupta. He leads this. And this is a national, I forgot the name of it. I mean, certain names and things I can't remember. And you can join. CEOs, CTOs, big people, or normal people join that trip. And they go to villages. They just live for a month everywhere. They walk around. And there's no luxury. You have to sleep under the sun. People do that. All the mosquitoes and all that. And there's a database for that. I forgot the name of that, but I may remember and then share it with you. So such wonderful things are happening. And there are a lot of solutions from India being taken abroad also. Maybe I'll talk about that some other time. Unfortunately, none of these are being discussed. I don't know whether anybody is aware of Shodh Yatra. Anybody heard about it?
No, sir.
Yeah. So I felt very bad, being an Indian, I didn't know about it. It is called Srishti, okay? Srishti.org, Shodh Yatra. Let me share it with you. And we have to learn from outside, okay? Maybe you should really make use of this. The way people, I could not go because of my time, but when I retire, I like to see what we can do. And there are Anil K. Gupta, he's a person. And yeah, there are quite a number of things. Even Ignited Mind is part of it. Quite a number of projects. And so the Yatra, you can really look at it. Okay, yeah. Srishti.org. Sujata-ji, were you aware of this? Shodh Yatra, Sujata-ji? Okay, no problem. Okay, anything else, folks? Anything to ask?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was not completely aware. can you hear me, Praladji?
Yeah, I can hear. Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, I had some idea about it through my husband, but not the full information that you just shared with us. Yeah, I had a brief idea. That's it. Yeah.
So, Dr. Mashelkar, Padma Vibhushan,
Yes, yes, yes.
and so quite a lot of people. So actually, I had a Frugal
Right.
Innovation Journal and Frugal Innovation
Mhm.
Conference I was held in 2016, but then I could
Okay.
not do it because at that time the demonetization came, and there were people who were quite worried, and it was in November, the demonetization came. I'm not saying against demonetization, but then disrupted and
Mhm.
we had to stop it. At that time, I invited Anil K. Gupta.
Actually,
Yes,
actually, this is something similar we are planning to do for our the microbiome project on various cultures, but we are planning to take in some colleges along with us, and probably along with the students, to find out what exactly and how exactly these kind of things and fermented foods are done in different states of of India.
okay.
We have so that would be a different Shodha Yatra, but it's a similar concept there.
Okay, wonderful. So let us stop. Another 4 minutes to go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being listening to this. Really appreciate it, and all the best to you. So Sujata ji, next week I was supposed to travel to Qatar, but that may be postponed. So I don't want.
I can arrange it.
Yeah, but I'll let
I
you
can
know.
arrange it. How about the Sweri team?
No issue.
But let me
We,
confirm it.
we are
Sujata.
available.
Yeah, let me confirm
Hello?
it within couple of days. Okay.
One day before also you can give us
Yeah.
a confirmation. We will be ready because
Okay.
we have made another one practice that we kept that Saturday free for everyone. And that 2 hours we are meeting each other. If you are there, we are joining you. Otherwise, we are there in our level.
Thank
So
you.
we will be available.
13th, I'm not free. We have an open day. So,
Oh,
and next week, I'll confirm by Monday or Tuesday. And Monday is a holiday, May Day. So maybe Tuesday or like that. And then we will definitely meet on 30. No, sorry. We'll meet, definitely meet on 20th.
20th May.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, thank
Hello,
you so
sorry,
much. Sir.
I missed you all because there was a lot of disturbance in the network connectivity. I'm not clear. Dr. Prahlad, you will confirm, right? Whether we'll have
I
it
will
next week.
confirm Tuesday, I'll confirm. I'll confirm.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
fine.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Very nice
thank you.
session today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all this
Okay.
very team. Thank you, Sujata
Thank you.
ma'am. I hope your health is
Okay.
good.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Yeah.